Looking back on the last 2 years of this coalition government, I think it's fair to say that one of the defining characteristics of this government is that it is a government of broken promises. If you analyse what they committed, what they said they would do, it's clear that they have broken those promises as opposed to making any attempt to fulfil them. And I think there was a sense of promise and excitement 2 years ago when this government was elected. But I think public trust, because of their failure to fundamentally and radically alter the political system and also to fulfil their promises, I think has broken public trust. And public trust in the political system is now at an all-time low, and it gives me no pleasure in saying that. And I think the actions of this government have certainly contributed significantly to do that. It seems to me that the government has been fundamentally concerned about the spin that they put on various issues. It's headline first seems to be the motto. When you go through the headlines subsequently, you find that all is not as originally announced. There has been some progress, particularly at a macro level, at European level. I think there's been a significant change over the last year and a half. I'm already publicly on record as paying tribute to Mario Draghi for the excellent work he has done in the context of the ECB's role in trying to resolve the Eurozone crisis, although clearly we're not out of that yet, but we're in a better position now than we were 12 months ago. However, on some of the core issues that affect people's daily lives, jobs for example, we have 30% youth unemployment in the country. Immigration is a sad reality, obviously, and that's helping to massage the figures and keep them relatively lower than they would be otherwise. But 14% is unacceptable. It's a shocking figure, and 30% youth unemployment really calls for some new initiative at national level to help young people get jobs in this country. In relation to mortgage arrears, we've been 2 years into this government in office. The central bank governor, I think, summed up the attitude of most people recently when he said he was pulling his hair out at the lack of proactivity by the banks in terms of engaging in a meaningful way with customers and with people with mortgages. Now, we have actually been constructive in this regard. We've brought forward legislation. Thomas Byrne brought forward a family home protection bill, for example, in the Shannon. Micheal Martin brought forward a debt settlement office bill, which was to provide an objective institution which would arbitrate fairly between banks and customers and take the veto away from banks. So in relation to mortgage arrears and jobs, the government has not succeeded in any shape or form, and they haven't really put pressure on the banks to deal with this mortgage crisis. In terms of other issues, the government made solemn commitments in the field of disability, and the Taoiseach in particular before the last election laid it down as a kind of a litmus test of how he would be judged. Well, by any yardstick, I've looked at this over 2 years, and both budgets they've had and various initiatives they've taken, if you add it all up cumulatively, it represents a very significant attack on the disability sector. The respite care grant cut, the most recent ones in terms of the motorised grant and the mobility allowance, the shocking situation with domiciliary care allowance, where an enormous number of applications are being refused and children with autism are not simply getting the domiciliary care allowance at all. And of course we had the disability allowance debacle in the first budget, and there are other issues there. So on disability, the government has failed very significantly and have betrayed people in relation to the decisions that they've taken.